Hey guys, what's going on? King Narakami here, finally back for another video. It's so good to be back after a little hiatus. Life has just really gotten the better of me recently. I've been really busy and not very motivated recently, but here we are, like any unmotivated person trying to get back into content creation. Today I present to you a tier list. Yes, a tier list of all the ATLUS games that I've played before. I'm going to rank them one by one because I figured this would be a good time since Metaphor is going to be releasing here soon. I think we're kind of in a lull with ATLUS stuff right now, so this is a great time for me to just sit down and do this tier list. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Sit back, relax, let's get it on. Alright, so before we start this tier list, let me just say, you're about to hear personal opinions. Now, that might really frustrate some to know that, you know, I have an opinion that's different than others, but if you're offended by this, be offended. I don't give a shit. This is my tier list. I'm here to have fun and just freestyle, just say what I think about each title, their pros and cons, and move on. So let's just go ahead and start right quick with Persona 3 FES. Now, Persona 3 FES is the re-release of the original Persona 3, so I've never played the original Persona 3 before. I went right to FES, and I had a really good time with it. I think we're gonna start let's put FES in B for now. A really solid B. The social link still ain't great and everything. I'm not a big fan of it. The story was kind of, you know, I think the story wasn't paced great, but the cast is really good. I really enjoyed the cast, so I think solid B is a good place for me to put this down. Now, Persona 3 Portable, another re-release of Persona 3, and I'm going to be honest, I love visual novels, but I did not like Persona 3 Portable that much. I think the pacing is even weirder with it being a visual novel. You have to like use a cursor to move around instead of roaming around in the 3D area. Yes, the gameplay is just as good as FES, even better. Is you do get party control. I love that aspect about Portable, but to me, the visual novel style, you miss out on the cutscenes, of course, and a lot of things that come with the original Persona 3. So I'm going to put P3, P, and C, and let's not forget, the remaster was a total abomination. It's ass. So we're going to put P3, P, and C for now, and see how we feel about it later. Now, for Persona 3 Reload, this is one I'm really not sure how I'm going to grade. You know, it's the remake of the original Persona 3. I really liked Reload. It gave a lot of quality of life features to the original Persona 3. Made the game somewhat easier, and I think the game kind of lost a little bit of its character when it came to like the lighting and stuff, and like the dormitory, and even outside and everything. But the new voice cast that they got for the game's great. The gameplay is 100% improved if you ask me. It's more modern. It's a great looking game. So I'm going to put it higher than FES for now in B. The top of B for now. This is going to be at the top of B for now, and we're just going to circle back to it later. Now, of course, y'all know me. Persona 4 Golden is next, and I love me some P4G. That is one of my favorite games of all time. It's a re-release of Persona 4 with some quality of life features for the PlayStation Vita. It's since been re-released for PS4, Switch, and Xbox and PC over time. Great cast, great soundtrack. I absolutely adore the soundtrack. The setting of Inaba is amazing. The gameplay is great. I can't rave enough about it. So we're not going to go into S right now. We are going to put it at the top of A for now and see how we feel about it later. Now, Persona 4 Arena, let's just go ahead and do that right quick. Persona 4 Arena, I'm going to be honest, guys. It's going in D. Like, I'm not a big fighting game person. It's just, of course, this is a fighting game spin-off of Persona 4. You get to see the cast of both P4 and P3 as well. But the story's, it's that visual novel style again for the story, and just, it didn't do much for me, guys. It didn't. There were some really cool moments, especially when both of the cast met up together, but it's just not my game, guys. Now, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, it's probably going to go bottom of C tier. It's slightly better than Persona 4 Arena, just for the fact that it also includes Persona 4 Arena as well, and made some gameplay improvements and stuff. You could play the entirety of P4 A and P4 a U in it, and there is some extra stuff added to it as well, gameplay improvements. So I'm going to put it at the bottom of C for now. Now, Persona 4 Dancing. I absolutely adore this game. This might be controversial. It's probably my favorite Persona spinoff. So where are we going to put this? I'm sorry, this might be controversial, but I'm putting it in A. I love dancing games. I love rhythm games. And this was just my shit. The story was pretty good. It's a visual novel style as well. The story's good. The music is even better. And, you know, you just get back with the characters and everything. It's a very self-contained story. And I absolutely adore it. So I'm putting it in A tier. It could change, but let's put it in A tier. Now, the original Persona 5. As you know, Persona 5's gotten re-released in the form of Royal. So we're going for the vanilla Persona 5 experience, which was my first Persona experience. And so I have a lot of, I wouldn't say nostalgia because it's only been like 7 years at this point, but I absolutely love this game. However, I'm going to have to put it right behind P4G because, I mean, the characters to me aren't as good as Persona 4's cast. The music I still prefer P4 over, and the gameplay is really, really good in P5, but I think they really improved upon it in Persona 5 Royal, which coincidentally is next, which is going to be our first S-tier game. Persona 5 Royal enhanced everything about the original Persona 5, added about 30 hours worth of gameplay to it, new music. It was just an amazing game, and I've replayed it so many times at this point. It's going in S tier, easy S tier. I love Persona 5 Royal, and like I said, if you don't agree with me, that's fine, but I just think Persona 5 Royal changed the gameplay of Persona 5 enough to make it to this S tier level right here. And we're not going to have a lot of S tiers, I'm going to tell you that right now. It's going to be exclusively for the games that I just 1000% just like, I think it's almost flawless. So Persona 5 Royal is going to go up there. I have some problems still with the cast. The story is whatever, it's fun and everything. It's not like top tier, but I really do enjoy it. I think I give the edge to Persona 4 when it comes to story, but still, the gameplay and everything, almost perfect. So, S tier. Persona 5 Strikers, a game that is very near and dear to my heart. It's a spin-off of Persona 5, and it's just, an action RPG. So, it's really fun. The music's great. You get to see more of the cast and everything, and I think some of the characters that were pushed to the side of Persona 5 get more time to shine, and I really appreciate that about P5S. The gameplay is fun as hell. Like I said, the music's amazing. So I am going to put this right below Persona 4 Dancing in A tier. I think Strikers is a very underrated game. I love this game to death. My hype for it was at all time, was like so high, and to me it met all of my expectations, so I'm putting in an A. Now, let's go to some sinkers of some games. Persona 3 Dancing. So Persona 4 Dancing happened, and so years later, ATLUS was working on Persona 3 Dancing behind the scenes and everything. And then someone at ATLUS apparently said, well, let's release Persona 5 Dancing alongside of it. So I really think that the quality of Persona 3 Dancing suffered because of it. Persona 3 Dancing has some good music in it. Like, some of the remixes are really good, but some of them are, it's alright. There's not really a story at all. It's just some social link like events and everything. So, and the DLC practices for the game is just trash. There's too much DLC. It's all very pricey. So I'm gonna give it the edge over Persona 4 Arena because of the remixes. I know that might be a controversial take, but that's just me. Of course, I love rhythm games. Now, Persona 5 Dancing, that's going straight into fucking trash. Like, this shit is complete ass, man. When I tell you that this is a certified soulish cash grab of a game, let's just say this: Persona 5 Dancing released pretty much just a few years after the original Persona 5, and it only had that to go on in terms of music. The original Persona 5. We didn't have Strikers, we didn't have Royal, and we damn sure didn't have, I don't even think the anime was out at the time. So there wasn't a lot of variety in the soundtrack, and not to mention the social events were very, very just bad. I'm just going to say it, bad. It's going straight in trash. The gameplay's still fun, but it's just so soulless. The DLC practices are horrible. That shit is fucking trash. Get that shit out of my ATLUS collection, but unfortunately, the physical was bundled with Persona 3 Dancing, and the only way to get Persona 4 Dancing on PS4 is to buy this digital bundle with P5D and P3D. So a lot of people are stuck with that, but that shit's trash. Sorry, I just gotta get that off my chest. Let's go Persona Q next. I've played about half the game before I really stopped it. It's alright. Very Etrian Odyssey first person dungeon crawler kind of game. I'm not a big fan of first person dungeon crawler, sue me. I mean, that's probably why I haven't played a lot of the early SMT games. So I'm sorry, but Persona Q is going right beneath Persona 3 Portable in the C category. I mean, you get both the cast of Persona 3 and Persona 4. There's some fun to be had with the cast, but at the same time, the game amounts to nothing because the story is just like, I don't even think it's canon. So to me, it was just a waste of time for me to play. It was fun for what it is, and maybe I'll go back one day, especially since I do want to play Persona 2 at some point. But right now, it's going in the middle of C. Speaking of C tier games, Persona 5 Tactica. Now, a lot of people hate me for this opinion. I think Persona 5 Tactica is not that good. I'm not a big fan of strategy RPGs or anything either. I think that the new characters of Arena and Toshiro were good, very well done, but other than that, it was just a very paint by the numbers. The cast has like zero like character development in it. It was just almost a waste of time, and it's considered canon, but nothing really changes. Nothing about the story really changes anything about the Persona universe. At least when Strikers came out, it was a sequel to Persona 5, so you didn't know what was going to happen. This, we all kind of knew what was going to happen. So, I'm sorry. To me, it's... I'm putting it right below Persona Q. It's not that good. The music's alright. It's decent. I don't like the opening song. Persona 5 Tactica just doesn't do it for me, guys. I'm sorry. Sue me. I know Ozzyak's going to be mad at me, but... hey, what are you gonna do? It's just not my cup of tea. Now, SMT5 Nocturne HD Remaster. Let's put this shit up here, right in front of Persona 4 Dancing. This shit, I love Nocturne so much. I think the thing that really holds it back is the remastering process. The gameplay is great. It's really difficult at times, very challenging. I like the story. I like the characters, of course. But I think what really holds it back is the actual remaster that was done. It was very cheap, and especially on Switch. I reviewed it back in the day when it first came out, and the frame rate was just fucking awful.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
So if it wasn't for that, it'd possibly be maybe even S. But I love the music, I love the characters, I love the story. But because of the way it was done and the way it was sold, it's going to go in A for now. Digital Devil Saga. I absolutely love this game. I don't remember a lot of it. I beat the first, didn't get around to the second. You know what? We're going to place it. Is it going to be an A or is it going to be an B? Of course, it's an SMT. Would you say it's a spin-off? Yeah, it's a spin-off game. It's not exactly like, it's not a mainline entry in the SMT series, but I really like it. It's the first time that the SMT games got voice acting and everything. There's a really good story, the music's good, the gameplay's great. I'm going to put it over Persona 3 Reload. You know what? I'm switching Strikers and Digital Devil Saga. That's just what I'm feeling. I think Digital Devil Saga belongs in the A tier, even if it's below P4D, which I know is going to piss off a lot of people, but I do think it belongs in the A tier. We can slide down Strikers to B, even though I love the game very much. Digital Devil Saga to me gets the edge over Strikers when it comes to, you know, my love for it. So I really want to go back, replay Digital Devil Saga one day so I can play 2, because it's been a couple of years, and so it'd be a good refresher. Hey, Atlus, just remaster the fucking games. That's all you gotta do. Come on, guys. We've been asking for it forever. SMT4, Shin Megami Tensei 4, easy S tier. Easy S tier. To me, this is like almost peak fiction right here. The music, oh my god, the music is so fucking good. The story is probably one of the best in Shin Megami Tensei. Probably the best, if you ask me, that I've played so far. And the characters are even better. I absolutely love Flynn. I love Walter. I love Isabeau. I love everybody in this fucking game. I can't speak its praises enough. S tier, right below Persona 5 Royal for now. I still think Persona 5 Royal gets the edge in terms of gameplay. But SMT4, just masterpiece of a game. Absolutely adore it. And one day, I'm going to get to SMT4 Apocalypse. I promise. Now, the original SMT5, I'm going to put right below SMT4. I love SMT5, but the biggest, at the time when I first reviewed it on the channel a few years ago when it first released, I said that it's my favorite RPG of all time. And that was true until I played Shin Megami Tensei 4 soon after. The gameplay edge goes to the story edge, the characters, and the gameplay to me go to Shin Megami Tensei 4 in terms of that being better, but SMT5 is a wonderful experience, and now you can even play it since it's been re-released as Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, which is what we're going to talk about right now. I'm putting it at the very top of this list. Call it recency bias, but it took everything about SMT5, created a new route for us to play, and which really expanded some of the characters as well, and the gameplay just got so many quality of life improvements, new stuff as well, new music, just everything about it was almost JRPG perfection. And so I believe that this game deserves to be at the top of this tier list. SMT5 Vengeance is probably my second favorite JRPG of all time, of course beaten out by Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, but it's still an amazing game, and I think it beats out Persona 5 Royal for the best spot on this tier list. Now, Soul Hackers 2. Oh, Soul Hackers 2. I swear, if you go onto Twitter and say that you like Soul Hackers 2, you're going to start getting fucking death threats at this point. I really, really like Soul Hackers 2. It's a very good game. I love Ringo, the main character. The music's alright. Not the best soundtrack in the world. It does have a few good songs on it. But the gameplay is really solid. The characters are great. I love the aesthetic and everything. Ringo and Fig are great characters. Just, I really like this game. And so it's going below FES for me in B tier. I really like Soul Hackers, and I would love to play it again one day just to, you know, redo its story, and because it wasn't like the best story in the world, but it kept me engaged for the entirety of my playtime with it. So Soul Hackers 2, very underrated, very overhated. I think people who really hate the game can be very, like, it's kind of forced in some ways. It's fine if you don't like the game. I get that. But I think most of the hate comes from it being Soul Hackers 2, being named Soul Hackers 2. If it had some other name instead of Soul Hackers, I think it would have fared a lot better in people's minds. Catherine Full Body. Oh man. I absolutely adore Catherine so much. I think it's a great game. Very adult oriented, and it's got good cast. It's got really good puzzle-solving gameplay, which can be a turn-off for some. I like it. I just can't really do like the really hard levels. The music's really good. I love the aesthetic of the game, and it's just a very mature game. So I'm going to put it at the top of B tier right here. I absolutely love Catherine Full Body. It's a great game, and I think everyone who can should play it. Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE Encore. Now, this is also a game that people have a lot of problems with, because when this game was first announced, it was introduced as Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem, which technically is what we got, but it's not what a lot of people thought it was going to be. Hey, I really like the game. I think it's very solid. The characters are good. The music, I love the music of the game. I think it has some bangers of soundtrack. I think it has a banger soundtrack. The graphics aren't that good. It's just, it's a very solid game. It's nothing to like that's going to make your jaw drop, but I think it's really underappreciated, and I think it's a game that everyone should try, even if you're still pissed off at the fact that it's not exactly what you wanted out of Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem. So I'm going to put it... This is going to piss a lot of people off. I'm putting it at the bottom of B. Above Persona 3 Portable, Persona Q, Persona 5 Tactica. It's going in B tier. It's not a C tier game to me. It's low B. It's not a bad game at all. It's very solid, so I love it. The final one that we're going to talk about today is 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, a Vanillaware game. And unfortunately, it's the only Vanillaware game I've ever played, so don't hate me for it. But it's absolutely peak fiction in every single way. The story's amazing. It's told in like this kind of side-scrolling, I wouldn't say visual novel, kind of a visual novel style, but the story's great. The characters, I know it was going to be a daunting task to juggle 13 main characters, but somehow Vanillaware absolutely pulled it off and gave us one of the greatest casts I've ever seen, in my opinion. It's such a great game. The artwork is fucking beautiful, and the music is amazing. I'm not a big fan of the tactical gameplay. That's really not my style, but there's an easy mode. I could just turn that on. It was pretty mindless, and I enjoyed some of the interactions during it as well. So as far as where I'm going to put it on the list, it's going at it's an S tier game, guys. It's easily an S tier for me. I absolutely love 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, and I don't think it's talked about enough. And I think it's something that everyone, even if you never play a Vanillaware game, I think it can extend past just ATLUS fans, and it could be a game that anyone can just pick up and play and start enjoying, in my opinion. If you're wanting a really, really good story with great characters, emotional moments, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim has you covered, and to me, it's very deserving of an S tier. And now that I really look at this list, I'm pretty happy with what we have. I might get crucified for putting Tokyo Mirage Sessions where it is, for putting Soul Hacker 2 Tokyo Mirage Sessions where it is. But you know what? This is my tier list. Like I said, if you got a problem with it, let me know down in the comments. What would you have done different? Are you really mad at me? Let me know down in the comments section. And, you know, if you're mad about it, go ahead and make your own tier list. I'd love to see it, and I want to hear your opinions on it. But this is mine. SST5 Vengeance is the best ATLUS game to me. And of course, Persona 5 Dancing is a fucking piece of trash, and I will stand by that until the day I die. Guys, thank you so much for joining my video today about this tier list. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded, but this is just something I really want to do to get back into the swing of things. I thought it might be a good way to do that. Make sure you like the video if you liked it, leave a comment, and subscribe for more ATLUS content. I'll see you guys in the next video. King out.